A visionary emerges. Introducing W.E.B. Du Bois. W.E.B. Du Bois stands as a towering figure in history. He was a sociologist, historian, and Pan-Africanist. Born in 1868, Du Bois dedicated his life to fighting for equality and justice. His work continues to inspire people around the world. Du Bois challenged racism and colonialism. Du Bois believed in the power of education. He argued for the full equality of African Americans. He saw the connections between racism in America and colonialism abroad. Du Bois's ideas helped to shape the civil rights movement. Du Bois faced many challenges in his life. He confronted racism and discrimination, but he never gave up on his beliefs. Du Bois's courage and determination continue to inspire us today. He reminds us that we all have a role to play in the fight for justice. Du Bois's life and work are essential to understanding the struggle for equality. He showed us the importance of speaking out against injustice. He challenged us to create a more just and equitable world. From Great Barrington to Harvard, the making of a scholar. W.E.B. Du Bois's journey began in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Born in 1868, he grew up in a predominantly white town. Despite facing racism, Du Bois excelled in school. He went on to attend Fisk University, a historically black college in Tennessee. At Fisk, Du Bois encountered the harsh realities of segregation. This experience deepened his understanding of racial inequality. He graduated with honors in 1888. Du Bois then attended Harvard University. He earned his second bachelor's degree in 1890. Du Bois continued his studies at Harvard, receiving a master's degree in 1891. He then became the first African American to earn a PhD from Harvard in 1895. His dissertation, The Suppression of the African Slave Trade to the United States of America, 1638-1870, was a groundbreaking work. Du Bois's education provided him with the tools to challenge racism. He used his knowledge to advocate for social change. His academic achievements paved the way for future generations of scholars. The Souls of Black Folk Du Bois and the African American Struggle. After completing his education, Du Bois embarked on a career as a sociologist and activist. He conducted groundbreaking research on the lives of African Americans. His work exposed the realities of racism and segregation. Du Bois challenged the prevailing racist stereotypes of his time. In 1903, Du Bois published his seminal work, The Souls of Black Folk. This collection of essays explored the complexities of African American identity. Du Bois introduced the concept of double consciousness. He argued that black people in America must navigate a dual identity. Du Bois's work resonated deeply with African Americans. The Souls of Black Folk became a cornerstone of the civil rights movement. His writings gave voice to the experiences of black people in America. Du Bois's ideas challenged the nation to confront its history of racism. Du Bois's activism extended beyond his scholarship. He co-founded the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, in 1909. The NAACP became a leading force in the fight for racial equality. Du Bois served as the editor of the NAACP's journal, The Crisis, for over 2 decades. A world united championing Pan-Africanism on a global stage. W.E.B. Du Bois's vision extended beyond the borders of the United States. He recognized the interconnectedness of the African diaspora. Du Bois believed in the power of Pan-Africanism, a movement that sought to unite people of African descent worldwide. Du Bois played a pivotal role in organizing the Pan-African Congresses. These congresses brought together African leaders and intellectuals. They discussed issues facing Africa and its diaspora. The first Pan-African Congress took place in Paris in 1919. Du Bois attended all 5 Pan-African Congresses held during his lifetime. He used these platforms to advocate for the self-determination of African nations. Du Bois believed that colonialism was a form of racism. He called for an end to European imperialism in Africa. The Pan-African Congresses helped to shape the movement for African independence. Du Bois's leadership and ideas inspired generations of African activists. His work laid the groundwork for the decolonization of Africa. The power of the Pen. Du Bois's literary and intellectual legacy. W.E.B. Du Bois was a prolific writer and intellectual. He published numerous books, essays, and articles. His writings covered sociology, history, politics, and literature. Du Bois's work was known for its intellectual rigor and social justice advocacy. His concept of double consciousness in the souls of black folk was groundbreaking. Du Bois argued that Black Americans live with a dual identity. They see themselves through the eyes of white society. Du Bois shaped the field of sociology. He systematically studied race and racism. His research exposed structural inequalities. Du Bois challenged racist assumptions. He was also a novelist, poet, and playwright. His novel, The Quest of the Silver Fleece, explored race, class, and gender. Du Bois's writings are still studied and admired today. Finding home. Du Bois's later years in Ghana. In the 1950s, W.E.B. Du Bois faced increasing persecution in the United States. The Cold War and the rise of McCarthyism created a climate of fear and suspicion. Du Bois's outspoken criticism of American foreign policy and his socialist beliefs made him a target of government surveillance. In 1961, at the age of 93, Du Bois made the momentous decision to leave the United States and move to Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president, had invited Du Bois to oversee the creation of an Encyclopedia Africana. Du Bois saw this as an opportunity to contribute to the development of a new Africa. Du Bois spent the last 2 years of his life in Ghana working on the encyclopedia and enjoying the company of his wife, Shirley Graham Du Bois. He became a Ghanaian citizen in 1963. Du Bois died in Accra, Ghana on August 27, 1963, at the age of 95. Du Bois's decision to move to Ghana was a symbolic act. It reflected his lifelong commitment to Pan-Africanism and his belief in the importance of African unity. Du Bois's later years in Ghana were a fitting end to a life dedicated to the struggle for equality and justice. An enduring legacy. Du Bois's impact on the world. W.E.B. Du Bois left an indelible mark on the world. His legacy continues to inspire people around the globe. Du Bois's work advanced civil rights and social justice. His ideas challenged racism, colonialism, and inequality. Du Bois' scholarship transformed our understanding of race. His concept of double consciousness remains powerful. Du Bois' work is studied worldwide. His activism sparked the civil rights movement. His leadership in the NAACP gave voice to African Americans. Du Bois's courage inspired generations of activists. His vision of Pan-Africanism laid the groundwork for decolonization. Du Bois inspired African leaders to fight for freedom. His legacy is celebrated in Africa and the diaspora. Du Bois was a visionary leader and advocate for justice. His life inspires us to create a just world. Du Bois's legacy reminds us that the struggle for equality is ongoing.